Welcome to Digital DJ Tips. This is a live lesson from the studios of the world's #1 DJ school with me, Phil Morse. And we're talking today about what happened when we moved in with DJ Jazzy Jeff. Our production team flew over to Philadelphia and literally lived day and night. We worked and ate and hung out with Jazzy Jeff in order to make this DJ course that we've just launched this week. DJ Jazzy Jeff's Scratch Skills Masterclass. And so obviously we had a great time, right? This is not something you get to do every day. But once we got back and once we'd got the course ready and all that, our minds started looking back and we started thinking, what lessons are there in this for all DJs? And so we kind of come up with a little list of a few, which I'm going to talk to you about today. They're actually on the website. If you head to the digitaldjtips.com website, where not only can you click the banner at the top and grab a copy of the course, and if you do it quickly, it's at a special launch price, which goes away in a couple of days, but also you can see this article here, what we learned living with DJ Jazzy Jeff for a week. So you can read up about what I'm talking to you about today. Now we are live. We're live on YouTube, Facebook and Twitch. If you're watching the recording of this, you can still comment, you can still join in, just do so in the comments underneath. But if you're watching live, get in that chat box because I've got all your comments coming in through here. So if you're new to all of this, these are half-hour shows we do most Tuesdays at around this time, where we just pick a topic that's hot at the moment among the students of our DJ school and chat about it in quite a casual way as we're doing right now. So hello to some of our early people in the chat room now. Hello to Mixmaster G. Hello to Catherine and Daniel and Mike and Kesha and Sarah. Great to have you here, people. And right, well, let's get going. Let's get started talking about what we learned living with DJ Jazzy Jeff for a week. And again, you can find this article on the website. So the #1 point in our list is that Jeff absolutely lives for music. Now that might come as no surprise, but you only have to walk into Jeff's studio to realize that. Now Jeff is from Philadelphia, that's where we flew in. Jeff doesn't live in the city anymore. Jeff's got a nice piece of land with a great house on out of the city, but he has a separate building, which is where he keeps his golf cart. Well, we bombed around his estate on his golf cart. He threw us the keys and says, go and chill out for a bit. At one point in the afternoon on one of the days we were there, that was good fun. And he's got his garage where he keeps his golf cart and his other bits and pieces. And then upstairs he's got an apartment, which is where we stayed. And then downstairs he's got a recording studio, DJ setups, so much gear and so much hip hop memorabilia going back so far into literally to the genesis of all of this stuff. Jeff has been doing this all his life, and it's so obvious, even to go into his house and look around, there's not a room in the house that hasn't got some jaw-dropping piece of memorabilia that just shows how long he's been doing this and how much it means to him. And of course, on the backdrop in his studio, he's got mantras and things that just prop up this fact. Jeff lives for music. And so I think from the point of view of DJs, I honestly don't think that it's something that needs saying to most people. I had a lovely email today from someone I interviewed many years ago for an old course, and he was talking about, he wanted us to make some training for his Den and DJ gear. And he's just saying, come on, Phil, I'd buy it if you did. But he was saying, I only play 5 gigs a year at the moment, but I know I'm a DJ. I've always been a DJ. And I totally agree with him. You know, those of us who have ever DJ'd, we don't need someone to remind us that we're a DJ for us to feel like it. We just are, right? If you've ever been a professional footballer, you don't stop being a professional footballer because you're not doing it very often. You might reach the age of 60 or 70. What do you do? Oh, I was a footballer. You know, it never leaves you. DJ never leaves you. Music never leaves you. And so I guess the teaching point here is, if you've got into DJing for any reason other than a genuine and deep and profound love of the music, you're in the wrong game. You're not going to last the test of time. If you're looking for fame, or you're looking for money, or you're looking to be more attractive to the opposite sex, actually that one can fit in with love of music. But anyway, if you're looking to do anything other than purely get into this because music is your thing, getting serious again, then I really think you're in the wrong place. You won't be able to handle the highs and lows. Now, Jeff has had many highs and many lows, but the music's always been there with him, and it's obvious. It's obvious from everything about the man. So it's just really a mental check. Am I in this for the music? If you're ticking that box now in your head, you're good to go, because all the best people, trust us, really, really are. So number 2 in our list is that Jeff embraces his friends. So I'm not meaning that he's always hugging his friends, although he's possibly doing that. As a Brit, I find all that stuff a little bit, a bit harder than some people. We're not a particularly huggy race, us Brits. Anyway, that's not what I mean by saying he embraces his friends. What I mean is that Jeff has an open door policy for the people he really cares about. Now, the picture we've used there in the article is him with Scratch Bastard, who's obviously a frequent collaborator on his show, but also one of the many people who can just wander into the studio and wander out again. He really does care about the people who are close to him. And it's not only DJs and producers. It's just his mates. It's just the locals who he gets on with. They're quite often sat there. They'll turn up with a bag of pretzels and say, here we go, folks. Anyone hungry? Sit there for an hour, chat, poke Jeff in the ribs a bit and bring him down to earth, and they're off again. I think having that kind of attitude to people in general is something that you need to be a DJ, because DJing is not only about understanding everything technical about the DJ gear you're using, or having a great music collection, or figuring out some of the techniques. It's about other people. It's about the way you react to other people coming into your world and into your city and into your life, into your DJ booth. It's about the way you react to people on the dance floor. And it's a people game. People only employ people that they know and like in this game. It's not something that you can send a CV to a mega corporation and get a job doing. DJing is a people game. And Jeff has got a huge number of people who he genuinely cares for and who genuinely care for him, which means that without him asking, they're propping him up, they're helping him along. Now, some of you might not know this, but Jeff has something called the Playlist Retreat every year, where he handpicks, like picking people to go to your wedding. He handpicks the people who he really wants to hang out with and pays for them to come to where he lives, and has a mini festival where they talk gear, where they make music, where they do workshops, where they hang out together. All on Jeff. Jeff sorts that out for the people he cares about. He doesn't need to do that. Jeff does. And it's one of the reasons he is respected and loved, and one of the greats, because Jeff knows that you don't build Rome in a day or on your own. You do it with other people. And so when we see DJs saying, oh, every DJ in my town is out to get me. Every DJ in my town is out for themselves. I don't trust any of them. I don't like any of them. Look, that attitude is self-fulfilling. There's a great story about a man who is sat at the top of a hill, an old man, and someone approaches him and says, hey, I'm traveling. What are the people like down in your village? And the old man says to this person who approached him, what were the people like in the village you've just come from? And he says, oh, they were all cutthroats. They were all out to get me. They were all out for themselves. It's a selfish place. It's a horrible place. I'm on the move. I'm on the move. That's what I found. And the old man says, well, I'm afraid you're going to find that down there, they're pretty much the same. And then a little bit later, another person approaches the old man on the hill and says, hey, I'm a traveller and I notice your village down there. Tell me, what's it like down there? What are the people like? And the old man says, what were the people like in the village that you came from? And the traveller says, oh, they're lovely. My people are gorgeous. Always got an open door for you. Always nice. Always there to help. It's a lovely place to live. And the old man says, oh, well, you're going to find it's much the same down there as well. And I love that story because your attitude to other people is what you get back. I've never met someone with a nicer attitude to other people than Mr. Jazzy Jeff right there. It rubs off on you. It was a lovely place to be. And of course, he was generous enough to invite us, not just to make a DJ course with him. We've made 2 DJ courses with him now, so he knows we can do that stuff. He trusts us to get the professional stuff right. But he invites us to go and live with him for a week as well. That says a lot about the man. So he embraces his friends is our second point. Our third point, this is an important one. Jeff is super busy, but he's also super focused. So Jeff was always there at 9:30 as agreed to do his work with us till 5 o'clock every day. And of course we were there too. Hey, we're professionals. But me and my colleague Steve actually are both runners. And so at dawn, literally at dawn, we'd wait until 6:10 or whatever it was in the morning when the sun just came up. We'd be out there going out for an hour running to get our legs stretched before we had breakfast and got down to business. Now, I often saw Jeff through his kitchen window with his kids, getting breakfast, hanging out with them, checking their homework, packing their bags, and being a dad. And I'd go down to the studio, which you remember is underneath where we were staying, quite often, a couple of times in the time we were there in the evening, because I'd left an SD card or a hard drive, or I needed to check the focusing on the camera because it looked a bit off from the day's footage and I wanted to make it better on the next day, something like that. And guess who I'd find there? Jeff. And Jeff would either be catching up on some stuff that he couldn't do because he'd been with us, or he's with one of his friends or his son, who's an artist himself, in the studio next door, helping them to get some plugins working or giving them some ideas or helping them out. In other words, working through the evening. So Jeff comes across not only as a dedicated family man who's dedicated to music and to his friends, but he's got about 3 jobs, and all of those jobs are music. So his ability to switch from one thing to another and then give that new thing his full attention is what I really noticed about him. In life, I find you're one of 2 types of people. You can only concentrate on one thing at once, but you do a good job of it. Unfortunately, that means if anyone else needs you, if there's anything else that needs your attention, if you've got other things that are going on in your life, they tend to fall by the wayside, right? We all know people like this, the focus type people. They're lovely when you've got their attention, but when you haven't, they're a nightmare. Or people try and do everything, so they're juggling everything, right? And I'm sure you could be one or other of these types of people. We tend to go in one direction or the other, I think. So these are the people who are trying to do everything. They've got 12 projects on the go at once. They're doing a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of that. They should be there and there and there. They're answering their phone. As soon as you pin them down to talk, they're looking over the shoulder, their phone's ringing, they're doing something else. They can't really commit fully to any one thing because they've got too much else vying for their brain space, right? Jeff can do both. He's figured out how to give his full time and concentration to what's in front of him, but he's planned his day so that he can switch to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And in my experience, it's the switching that's the hard bit. It's being able to take a deep breath and say, I'm now going to go from this to that, and park that, knowing you can come back to it efficiently, and then move to this, whatever this might be, right? Jeff can do it with 3 or 4 things in any day, seemingly quite effortlessly. That's how you become productive. That's how you can spend 10 years getting more done than you could ever have thought possible. And that's also how you can pace yourself and not worry that it's not all getting done at once. So if you're trying to fit DJing into a busy life, it might be worth taking a page from Jeff's book and saying, how can I give all the attention to the thing in front of me, whether it's your family or your work or your DJing or your fitness or your diet or whatever it is that you're putting time into in order to improve at. How can I concentrate on that, but also be able to switch effectively to something else and do that day after day after day? Jeff is super good at that stuff. So that's our third point. So if you've just joined us, we're talking about 5 things that the Digital DJ Tips team learned. Living, sleeping, breathing. Well, you actually sleep with Jeff, but you know what I mean. Being with DJ Jazzy Jeff for a whole week in his house, recording the latest DJ course that we have just launched. It's called DJ Jazzy Jeff's Scratch Skills Masterclass. And if you go to djtips.co/jazzyjeff, djtips.co/jazzyjeff, you'll go to that page there and you can learn all about it. We learned some really interesting things with the man for certain. Lots and lots of comments coming in from you here. Thank you very much to everyone who is chatting away. So Fuji says, I keep trying to click on that Jazzy Jeff video, but it won't play. It should do. It's hosted on Vimeo, who are quite a big YouTube-like provider. So maybe just clear your cookies or reboot and it should play for you. Hello to Jack, hello to DJ Extraordinaire, hello to DJ Shaky and Enzo, who says, I would love to live with DJ Jazzy Jeff. It's like the Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince days all over again, isn't it? Hello to you too, DJ Shaky. Hello to Lou as well. We are doing very well, thank you, Lou. And Lou says, yeah, I've picked up the DJ Jazzy Jeff course already. Thanks for that. Can't wait to get stuck in. Looking forward to seeing you inside that course there, Lou. So DJ Stu says, well said, Phil. This is about the get into this for the right reasons. There's too many plastics out there now. Music is the answer. I would say always has been. One thing we say here at the school is come to our school, take our courses, become one of our members, but do it because you're into this for the music. If you're not into this for the music, we can't help you. So yeah, it's right at the core of what we talk about as well. Chris says, as a fellow Brit, I feel the same. I think what you're probably saying, Chris, is you're not touchy-feely. Anyway, right, there's lots of students already in the chat saying that they're loving it. So that's cool. Thank you very much, everyone down in there in the chat saying that. So we've already covered 3 of our 5 things that working with DJ Jazzy Jeff, living with DJ Jazzy Jeff for a week taught us. Jeff lives for the music. He embraces his friends and he's super focused, but also super productive. He can keep 2 or 3 important things going, whether they're family or producing or DJ tasks or making a course. He can keep it all going while giving everything the attention that it needs. So number 4, Jeff is always DJing. I mean, it is ridiculous. He is always DJing. So Jeff said to me, oh, Phil, I never practice DJing. I mean, I've been doing this for 40 years. I never practice. He doesn't need to because he never stops. Jeff is constantly, it's almost like ADHD. He's constantly like this. And let me give you an example. So let's say that we were filming, I'm Jeff, right? We were filming Jeff in the studio. The studio we set up to make the course is not so different to this. We'd be filming courses. We've got the cameras everywhere. So when we're doing the Jeff course, we have a camera on the software, we have a camera over like this. We have zoom in cameras on the bits and pieces that we need as well. We have the front camera like this. You know, we have all that stuff set up. So we're filming the course. Jeff's here, Jeff's me. We say, okay, it's a wrap. Well done, Jeff. We've finished another good lesson. And Jeff says, hey, great, that's brilliant. Nice one, cool. So, and he's off. And he's off, he's scratching, he's cutting, he's doing combos. What we learned very, very early on, not in this course, not when we were filming the scratch course, but when we were filming the last course with Jeff is, you do not turn the cameras off. You tell Jeff that that's the end of the lesson and you leave everything running. You leave the mics on, you leave the audio recording, you leave all the cameras rolling. Because it's things that happen between the lessons that are often where the gold is. Jeff will tell you a story and he'll show you on the decks, he'll demonstrate the story. Jeff will just start playing along with something that's playing in the background. Literally, Grandmaster Flash Adventures on the Wheels of Steel, one of the most famous hip-hop scratch records of all time, was loaded for some reason to the decks. I don't know why, but we had it loaded and Jeff just started cutting and scratching along. He didn't have the tracks loaded that comprise that track, which of course is made up of lots and lots of incredible songs all stitched together by Grandmaster Flash. He didn't actually have the track selection that was used to make that record. He just had the original record playing, Grandmaster Flash's record with everything cut together. Jeff, he lip synced, or rather hand synced, the whole track. Every cut, every scratch, every trick, he just followed along and mimed along to it perfectly. We filmed the whole thing, we reverse engineered it, and we had one of the most important lessons in our course. And it was done between lessons because Jeff never stops DJing. He is always adding new music to his collection, loading it onto the decks, playing with it, chatting about music. We wanted to know how they made the sound at the beginning of Let the Music Play by Shannon. If you know Let the Music Play by Shannon, it's one of the old school hip hop songs. Well, it's not even hip hop, but one of the old school 80s tracks that he uses in the course. It's got almost like a whip sound at the beginning, and then it starts. And we were chatting in the studio about where that sound comes from. And Jeff hadn't seen ChatGPT answering music questions until I pressed the button on my phone and said, hey, where does the sound come from at the beginning of Shannon's Let the Music Play? And Perplexity, I think it was, spat out the synthesizer that was used, how it was processed. And Jeff was like, I need that shit. But that was enough for Jeff to have the tracks loaded, and we were off into another 10 minutes of solid gold. The man never stops DJing. So the lesson for everyone else is, don't stop DJing. Have your gear there, and we're going to move on to that in a second. Have your gear there so that you don't need to do anything to start DJing. Have a DJ app on your phone so that you can be practicing your mixes. Rekordbox has got a great app so that you can start putting cues onto your tracks and stuff, and they're all waiting for you when you get back to your studio. DJ by Algorithm is a great app that you can have just on your phone. But also you can be looking for music, you can be downloading music, preparing music, building playlists, listening back to stuff you've done. There's no reason with today's electronics and today's portable gear to not be always doing something for your DJ. And it doesn't have to be, I'm now going to put 3 hours aside and I'm going to do this. And then it becomes a chore. Just fit it in where you can. Jeff never stopped, and it really, really struck us. I mean, literally, if there was anything within arm's reach that allowed him to DJ, he would be on it and doing it, or like literally subconsciously. It would just start happening. And his full attention's on you, but he's DJing. It's crazy stuff. So here's another one. I don't know if this is an American thing or a Jeff thing or whatever. Jeff never turns anything off. I mean, Jeff's studio, he can walk out and go to his family for the evening. He can walk in again the next day, and literally within 3 seconds of arriving in the studio, he's back where he was. The cue points are in the same place. The cursor on his production software is in the same place on the Ableton project. The laptop is still there with Serato open in the playlist he was working on. He can literally just start again. Now, I don't do that. I turn this studio off when I leave. However, he did inspire me to make one switch, turn it all on again. So I don't advocate leaving everything you own turned on in life, personally, but he did make me think, oh, wouldn't it be good if I could be up and going? So I can be up and going in this studio in about 5 minutes compared to 10 minutes before when I had to go around and turn everything on individually. I rewired the whole studio to be on one socket and one plug, inspired by Jeff. But I guess the thing for DJs here is, it's much better to have your gear set up so that it only takes a couple of minutes to get everything booted up and working. And so that whenever inspiration strikes, you can dive in and do it. You know, one of the things that made me listen to a lot more music in my life 15 years ago was when speakers like Sonos arrived, right? If you've ever used, I mean, they're pretty much standard now, aren't they? Apple HomePods and Sonos and multi-room audio and all that. But the idea that I could just pull an app out, press play, and then the music could start playing, and I didn't have to go and turn everything on, and I didn't have to do any of that stuff. It could just start playing. And Bluetooth as well, yeah? You go and sit in your car, you were listening to something on your Bluetooth headphones, you plonk your phone down, you turn your car engine on, the audio kicks in, it picks up where you left off and starts playing the same music, right? I think these things are all really valuable. Anything that can get you back to doing what you do quickly is worth doing. Now, in Jeff's case, he is a professional. He's been doing this for decades. It's his life. It's everything he's about. So I'll forgive Jeff leaving it all turned on at all times. After all, he's normally back there doing some more stuff when we think he's at home in bed. So fair play to the man. But look, maybe you don't have to go that far. At least having a little corner of the room set up where your gear's permanently there, so you don't need to, you know, the last thing you want to be doing is pulling it all out, plugging it all in every time you want to use it. That's like having to take, you know, 2 trains to get to the gym for your 1 hour workout. You ain't going to do that. You ain't going to do that. Much better to get a few weights at home or join the gym around the corner, right? You know what I mean? The boring stuff that leads to the good stuff, cut the boring stuff out. And that's the 5th thing we learned from Jeff. I mean, we learned so much from the man. I just thought I'd pick those 5 things out for today. He lives for music. He embraces his friends. He's super busy, but super focused. He's always DJing, and his studio is always ready. Now, the course we made with Jeff is his Scratch Skills Masterclass, and that's this one here, which you can find a 40% launch offer on our site right now at digitaldjtips.com. Just click the banner at the top, go to this video here, watch it. Jeff will explain everything about his course, and underneath you can learn more about what it is all about. So ultimately, if you've always dreamed of scratching, if you've always wanted to cut and scratch, if you're a fan of old school hip hop, if you're a fan of classic scratch routines and records and the way it used to be done, this course is exactly what you've been waiting for. And so go and take a look at it there. I want to spend the last few minutes just chatting with you guys and girls about what you think about some of these points. So I'm going to start off with Beatrice, who is chatting about buying vinyl and then switching to CD and then of course to digital. An interesting thing about this Jeff course is that it's not designed for you to have vinyl to use it, or even to have turntables to use it, because scratching, cutting and scratching kind of transcends all that stuff. One of the big things we talk about in the course is how to do it on any gear. So it doesn't matter what you've got, doesn't matter how big or small your jog wheels are, and literally it will work on any gear. All you need is access to the music, two things that spin and a crossfader, and you're good to go. And so Jeff covers all the digital stuff, how he uses digital to make his scratching easier as well in that section of the course. But yeah, it works with all gear. I Am Preacher Man says, I never turn off my computer. I keep at least two USBs on the go. I can have music playing in about 45 seconds. Cool. Greatness says, do you DJ or do you talk about DJing? This is actually quite an interesting point. I think doing makes you right. Doing makes you right. There's a lot of people, and not only in DJing, of course, not only in DJing, there's a lot of keyboard warriors. There's a lot of forum opinionators, is that a word? Opinionated people in all areas of life, where they, for whatever reason, spend more time talking about the thing than actually doing it. And they can have hugely controversial or unhelpful opinions about stuff. Another world where you see this a lot is the hi-fi world, is the audiophile world. So I really, really love good audio. I'm prepared to spend money on good audio, and it's something that matters to me. But I do listen to the music that I love through the audio stuff that I think sounds best. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people spend all their time poring over graphs and technical specifications and this and that, and not actually listening to the bloody stuff. At the end of the day, I completely agree with Greatness there. Do you DJ or do you talk about DJing? And so you suddenly realize when you DJ that the things you thought were important are not important. A great way to find that out, if you're a new DJ, is to say, okay, I'm new to this. I'm going to play a DJ gig in 6 months. And then do one in 6 days. Then say, actually, I'm not going to wait 6 months. I'm going to wait 6 days. The things you do between today and 6 days' time are going to be very, very different to the things you would have done had you waited 6 months. They're the really important things. The DJ who plays a DJ set every 6 days for 6 months will be 1,000 times a better DJ than the one who spent 6 months building up to one DJ gig. Not least because the beginner DJ who took the route of DJing once every 6 or 7 days for that 6 months became a DJ the first time they played a DJ set. Whereas the person who is waiting 6 months and trying to get everything right and trying to do it all properly can't even call themselves a DJ until 6 months in. So I totally agree, Greatness, with your comment there. It is okay to turn your equipment off, says Doable Funk, or Doobie Funk, sorry. Yes, I agree. It is totally okay to turn your equipment off. That is not something that we're going to get stuck on, but we get the point. So not everything, says John, has to be full on production mode all the time. I just started casually firing up my decks, hitting record, playing with whatever came into my head, and with whatever amount of time I had. And some of my most rewarding sessions come from those moments. I often compare it to the video game right now. Of course, video games nowadays, probably not even called video games anymore. They're probably called something else. But my son, who's 13, 14, when he is playing on multiplayer games, Minecraft and Roblox and all that lot, he doesn't kind of like have 3 lives, lose the lives, game over, stop, go and do something else, come back, start again, 3 lives, play, game over, go back, right? To me, that's what video gaming was, because hey, I'm old, right? But I'm sure, go with me on this, I'm sure you know, if you've ever done that, you've ever played the single player games where you turn up, you get your lives, you play until you've lost them and you're done. There's a real tendency when you've lost a life early on to just say, oh, sod it and start again, isn't there? But some of your best sessions happen when you lose a life early, because from then on in, it's flawless, right? And so I totally agree with what John is saying there. That, look, just do it. Just start doing it. It might lead to nowhere, but it might lead to somewhere brilliant. But not doing it until you've got time to fully concentrate, turn your phone off, lock the door behind you. And even then, if it goes wrong at the beginning, if you lose one of those lives early, you beat yourself up over it. That's not what it's about. It's meant to be fun. And creativity has a weird habit of creeping up on us. But I'll tell you one thing that I've learned. Creativity creeps up on you when you're actually doing the thing that makes you creative, not when you're sat there not doing it. So do it. Totally with you there, John. And Jeff is exactly the same as that as well. So Mixmaster G, putting your computer in sleep mode instead of powering it off, and then just having one main switch is what I do. Yeah, I'm a sleep mode person as well. A few of you talking about the classic tracks that Shannon made. Let the Music Play and Give Me Tonight. Yes, they're both fantastic. I do have a real soft spot for that kind of mid-80s UK electro sound. Electro might be a slightly adjacent genre, but you know where I'm coming from. Great stuff. And it's great to see so many of you talking about the music from back in the day as well down there in the chat. This is really, really cool. I was just listening, says I Am Preacher Man, to Peter Piper by Run DMC. Great stuff. And they refer to Grandmaster Flash and they sample his music. And of course, Jeff's Drop Dead, Stone Cold classic routine, Peter Piper, is actually taught in the course as well. Right, people, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us. We've been talking about DJ Jazzy Jeff's new course, which is called DJ Jazzy Jeff's Scratch Skills Masterclass. Go to Digital DJ Tips and click the banner at the top if you're watching this early enough, and you will see that 40% off banner. It will take you to this page here and you'll be able to get the course at a generous and never to be repeated launch price, only for the next couple of days, and then it all goes back to normal. It's a fantastic course. We're very proud to have made it, but we were also proud to have spent time with the man himself, and the 5 key lessons we learned from that are what has been the subject of today's live show. And you can see the article and you can watch this video again and all that good stuff here on Digital DJ Tips on the website. Just click the news at the top and you will see it currently as the top story there. But you can always find our stories by clicking on the magnifying glass in the top right corner and typing in what it is you want. So if I wanted to find out what we'd written about NAMM this year, I could type NAMM and there we go. There's our NAMM 2025 story. We only had one. There wasn't much going on this year there. Okay, so there's your little lesson in how to use the Digital DJ Tips website as well. Hey, we try to offer value. Meanwhile, this has been Phil in the studio saying get good, get out there, make the moments. I hope we've been helpful, and we will see you again next week for another Tuesday live lesson. Until then, bye-bye for now.